I admit that this bot lane sounds completely ridiculous, since how are these two melee champions going to win on a lane where basically every champion outranges them? Well, it's quite simple. When they get hit by any of these three spells, the enemy is going to die. They can try to fight back, but the base stats of these top laner are just a high, so the bot laners are going to lose this brain dead punching fight. And even when they manage to kill this Sion, well, you know what happens. He is just going to make this trade even again. And later on, this lane just gets harder, since the enemy has to respect the ultimate of this immortal zombie train, which forces the carry to drop all his farm or give us a paycheck of 300 gold. Late game, you guys become a one-shotting Sion who can just watch an ad.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends. Start now.
To get a second life. And a Shen who becomes immortal and does Shen things.
Mr. Worldwide!
But already at level 1, this bot lane has a special strategy that allows them to collect a first blood with ease. The level 1 strategy with this bot lane is quite simple. Just run towards the lane and hide in this first bush. Ignore the assist ping of the jungler, since he has to deal with his own problems. Meanwhile, you are going to put a skill point into the Q spell on Sion and unlock the taunt ability on Shen. Now we have to be patient and wait until the enemy walks to the lane. I'm going to spend the time wisely. Oh, the enemy bot lane appeared. Now it's important to start the engage with Sion's Q spell. Charge the spell as long as you can and stay inside the bush, which allows Sion to charge his ability without the enemy being able to see the hitbox of that Q spell. Try to hit both of them and knock them up. Now it's time for your Shen to follow the engage and taunt the target when he hits the ground. Punch the shit out of them, and also make sure to use your ignite to secure that first blood gold. But be aware to focus the same target, otherwise your damage is not enough to get a kill, but it forces the enemy to put a 5-minute cooldown on his flash. And this means that your opponent has to go back to his base, allowing Sion and Shen to get a CS and XP advantage. But CVK, what is about this other guy standing on the lane? He is now able to get some solo XP and take the CS for his carry instead. Ha ha ha, that was one of the best jokes you made this year.
Thanks.
The laning opponent won't be able to take any single one of these, because of Shen's presence. The taunt range cannot be underestimated, and when you get caught by him once, you better start praying, since Sion is already charging his bonk spell. And with double ignite, there is no way he get out of this scenario alive, except he uses flash. But you should always be aware against what kind of enemies you are going to use this cheese strategy, since some of them might take revenge right after your failed attempt.
Skip.
As a normal AD carry, this would be a horrible scenario. But as you guys already know, Sion has this ridiculous passive where he gets revived for a short period of time and attack the enemy back, allowing him to make it an even trade. He also receives a new spell giving him 50% more movement speed, making it even easier to reach the immobile AD carry and punch the shit out of him. But even when they manage to survive this thing running at them like a psychopath, you still haven't won the laning phase yet, since Shen early game is quite strong as well. The solo XP he gets allows Shen to reach level 2 before his opponents, and this champion is going to win a simple stats checking fight. The taunt and the additional range and damage on your next 3 auto attacks thanks to the Q spell are going to secure you a double kill. And we are still at level 1. This lane dominance won't fade away for quite a long time. Maybe most of you guys might be thinking, alright, the strong level 1 phase is over and they can't make use of the surprise strategy again, so they should get bullet out of the lane due to the lack of range both champions have. Well, that is not going to happen. At level 2 and 3, Sion is going to unlock his shield, which can reduce the poke damage, but that's not big of a deal. The far more annoying spell would be the Scream, which allows Sion to slow some enemies. It has a really high range when you use it on a minion, which can be sent through the whole lane in order to slow the opponent. This gives your Shen some time in order to run towards him and taunt the enemy right after, allowing Sion to catch up and charge the Q spell. Meanwhile, you can activate his shield, that deals some OE damage after reactivating the spell again after 3 seconds. The easiest way to collect some kills. But what if you guys catch the support instead? This would give the enemy carry some time to hit a few auto attacks on these champions from the side. This problem can be solved by Shen's W spell, which creates an area around his sword, which can be repositioned next to him by clicking on your Q button. That protects Shen and all allies inside that circle from basic auto attacks, so the main damage source of this thing is completely useless. So, to sum up this part of the laning phase, you get hit by any kind of CC spell, knock up, or slow, you are going to die for sure. Just kidding. Shen doesn't even have to hit anything in order to kill a carry standing out of position. Well, after dying several times, some of them start to realize that there is no chance at all to win a fight and keep a certain distance to Sion and Shen bot. This forces us into a new scenario, due to the fact that most AD carries in this elo are brain dead monkeys and keep pushing the wave into your direction. That makes it quite easy for us to freeze the wave right in front of the tower. By using the Shen or the Sion shield, you guys don't even have to lose some HP doing this. Now the wave is stuck here, which leaves the enemy bot lane with two options. 1. They decide to push in the wave anyway. Well, this results into their own death, since Shen is going to position in one of these bushes in order to prevent the carry from farming, and once he got hit by the taunt, well, you guys know the rest. So this leaves the carry with the second option, dropping the CS and XP, because they are forced to stay away from the wave. Since the bot lane can't take any fights without dying, Sion is going to stay there and last hit the minions while making sure that this wave doesn't crash into his own turret. Meanwhile, Shen stays inside this bush while making sure that he gets the XP and prevent the enemy AD carry from farming, resulting into a huge CS lead for Sion. So it doesn't matter what the enemy does, they are going to lose the laning phase anyway. Due to the fact that Sion is last hitting these things the whole time and my incompetence, the lane is slowly pushing towards the enemy again. So we just created a slow push, making it even more impossible for the enemy to win the lane since he can't fight us in this huge minion wave. And now, Sion and Shen are able to commit for a tower dive, which you can't mess up since as soon as the enemy gets hit by the Shen taunt, they are just going to die. Additionally to that, both are tanky enough to take some time during the dive, and even when your laning opponent wants to prevent this scenario from happening, they can't run away. Thanks to Sion's ultimate, which gives him some movement speed while making him unstoppable and deals some damage together with a knockup when you manage to hit someone with this, which you are, since Sion is going to use this spell when he is standing right in front of them. And when you got rid of these inting Morons on the lane, Sion uses his Demolish to collect some platings. Since we have now unlocked the ultimates on both champions, the laning phase gets even easier. Before level 6, Sion had to walk towards the opponent when Shen managed to get him with his E-spell. Now, he can just use it as a follow-up, and the enemy can't even dodge it. It also allows Sion to engage, but make sure to use it on close distance since most enemies will start to run away when they hear this sound. And with a bit of timing, you can combine both ultimates, allowing Shen to join the fight right after. But when you guys somehow manage to make a bad engage, Sion's ultimate can still be used to disengage from the battlefield. Or when you guys accidentally meet the enemy top laner. Just run away. Oh wait, I think I forgot something.
An ally has been slain.
Nevertheless, these ultimates grant both champions more mobility throughout the whole map and are very useful during fights. Would be a shame when Sion starts build items which provide him with even more mobility. Prowess Claw would be one of them. This thing allows Sion to dash right next to his opponent and welcome him with a friendly knockup. It can be perfectly used as a gap closer for enemies who are trying to run away. Oh no. They killed you even before Sion could do anything. Well, that's really sad, but even in his passive, this champion is capable to use his items, and thus able to catch up in order to collect the 300 gold. When the enemy hasn't surrendered yet, Sion and Shen have to face the tough reality, the so-called late game. Even though when you manage to kill the AD carry several times and get a solid CS lead, Sion's scaling with lethality isn't that great. With his lack of mobility and the low resistances, enemy champions can just kite away from him or just burst him down with ease. This scenario gives Sion two different options. The first one would be to look for a good engage where you can burst down the enemy hyper carries together with the Shen ult, allowing you to get rid of them even before the teamfight starts. The other option would be Sion's normal task called split pushing. His wave clear is really good since his shield burst and his fully charged Q are capable to one-shot a whole wave. The tower shouldn't be a problem either, since with the Demolish proc, they melt away like butter. Together with the item Hull Breaker, this is a really annoying split pusher you have to deal with late game. And when the enemy team comes to stop you,
This is not okay.
just ult away.
Cowards!
Shen, however, can stick to his ordinary playstyle, help his teammates with ultimates, and be the tanky frontliner that can make some catches with his taunt. Here are the runes and build for Shen and Sion bot. And in case you are wondering why a supporter is one of the jungler with the best gank, you should check out this video.